Good evening, Commissioners. It is certainly my privilege and honor to be here to recognize Mrs. Jane Cauthen for 29 years of service with the Department of Human Services. So at this time, I would ask Jane to join me up here with her family. She has her husband Keith with her, her mother Miriam, and her daughter Katie joining us. And any staff that want to come up and join us as well, I would love for you to come up. I know we've got two right here, and Cheryl Harris. I'm calling everybody out just to come on up. To give you an idea of the timeline of Jane's career with the Department of Human Services, she started back in 1990 as an income maintenance caseworker in doing intake for AFDC, that's Aid to Families with Dependent Children from years ago back in the day, and Medicaid intake. And then she did that for like a year, and it's interesting to me on the timeline, it says that she was part-time when she started, but she worked 39 hours a week. So I guess back then you could get by with that a little bit and still be considered part-time. She then moved from there to doing some work in what was called the JOBS program, which is now known as Work First. Back then, that was adopted by President Kennedy. Now, she didn't work way back then whenever he came up with that legislation, but that was the Jobs, Opportunities, and Basic Skills Act that is now known as Work First. And she really loved that program. We were talking about that a little bit today. It's a self-sufficiency program that promotes work, and a really fantastic program that's evolved over the years in our department. From there, she moved to a social worker 3 in foster care. And between the JOBS program, working as an employment social worker, and foster care, there's about 8 years worth of social work practice going on there. And then she moved to a social work supervisor and was only that for a year. And for 19 years, she has been the program manager for the Child Welfare Division. And you know, when you look back on a career of 29 years and you think of having a legacy and leaving a lasting legacy and leaving an impression on people, I can certainly attest. The short time that I've got to know Jane, I have seen that. Very dedicated individual, in particular to the children that we serve in the department. And I am so proud of this number, and it's not just a number, because I bet you Jane can name every single child. 389 adoptions have taken place over the span of her career, and I know that she had a hand in every one of those during that time. So congratulations, and thank you so much for your service to the Cabarrus County Department of Human Services, and it truly is my honor to give you this, and just thank you so much for your dedication and service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you don't think when you start in 1990 that this day will come, but came pretty quick. But I'd like to thank my family first. And I said I wasn't going to do this, so let me collect myself. But we don't get to pick when we're going to have to work late or stay up all night or be grouchy because we were up all night. But I couldn't have done it without them. When Keith worked third shift, if I had to work late, all I had to do was call my mom and say, I need you to keep the kids, and I didn't have to worry. My son's not here. He's still in Raleigh working, but Katie and Ben know what it took to do what we do, but I appreciate that. But I've lived a pretty sheltered life. I've only lived and worked in Cabarrus County, so I haven't gone too far. I live on the same little dirt road, dead-end dirt road that I've lived on for 51 of my 52 years. I've only had 3 employers in Cabarrus County, so a lot of times I get 2 questions. How do I know you, and how do you do what you do with kids and go to sleep at night? Well, the first question I say, well, you can pick how you know me. I either sold you clothes when I worked at the mall during school, I either arrested you, or I took your kids. So you pick how you know me. So, but on the second question, how do you do what you do and sleep at night? I've done that because Cabarrus County is good, and we do right by people, and we do a good job. And as long as you can go home at night and know you did all you can do in the day's time, that's all you can ask for. And we do that. And I want you to know that will continue, because it's not, if you think I've done anything good in these years, it's not been me. It's been people like these 2. And you've got a lot of those 2, and Cheryl and Karen, that'll keep it going. So I appreciate my opportunity to have been here this long, and I know I have raised a ruckus with some folks, but it was all out for the kids and doing what's right for the people of Cabarrus County. But, and I am especially proud tonight that, Rich, I understand that's your first time back in that seat, and that makes me happy. And I enjoy my time working with you. So I thank you very much, and it has been an honor.
Great.